Well, all right. Gonna get about 2 more minutes before we get started. 2 more minutes before we get started. No, we're not doing kid and play tonight. I was thinking more in terms of like, I don't know, Proud Mary. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. No, love that. Big wheel keep on turning. Proud Mary keep. No. We'll let that one go. Dee's laughing so much she can't even type right now. It's horrible. Let's give it 1 more minute. Settle in, settle in. We're about to begin. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. I do need to work on choreography though. Kid and play, Proud Mary, something. We'll figure it out. All right. Welcome to day one. Welcome to day one. Glad you're here. Let's get into it. For tonight, as always, there's 3 specific things that we're looking to do. Typically, in these day one sessions, we've been doing 1 intentional movement and 2 forms of reflective practice. Usually, one will be a pretty cut and dry mindfulness technique. The other will really lean into a meditative technique, typically a guided meditation. And for tonight, we're going to do something slightly different, which is to say we're going to be dealing with 2 mindfulness based movements or 2 reflective movements. Some people look at the second movement as something of a meditation unto itself. Some people even look at the first movement as something of a meditation unto itself. And really, that's why we talk about the idea of decolonizing mindfulness and the idea that reflective practice does not have to mean that we're sitting in silent stillness all the time. I say it over and over and over again because it's true. Look at cultures and modalities around the world throughout time, and what you'll find is so many different cultures throughout time, bake reflective practices into particular qualities of movement. And so whether that is some form of singing or some form of dancing, or some other kind of movement, what's brought into it, what's infused into it is a quality of reflection. Well, what does that mean? What that means is this: within those qualities of movement, there is no expectation, which is another way of saying we're not wholly committed to specific outcomes. And there's no judgment. So it's not necessarily viewed as a good or a bad, but it's designed intentionally, strategically, so that the doer, that the participant is able to change the state, their state, the state of their perception, so that they might be a little bit more reflective, um, less judgmental, less tied to expectations, and therefore more present here and now. Hence, a mindful movement. That term really is a general term. Again, it's been used throughout time. It's not a copywritten term. Hi. It's not a copywritten term. And so the two movements that we're going to work through tonight, we'll just call the first one locomotion or a rowboat. And we see variations of this again in different modalities, but I just want us to talk through it and participate through it together. The second one was initially shared with me with the title of the heart center stretch. And so I feel as though it's a really great way for us to um, be able to approach and to view different variations of being overwhelmed in a healthy way and to really let those go. The final technique we're going to go through, a more formal, straightforward meditation. We'll call it the compound meditation for tonight, and I'll talk you through it as we go there. Now, if you have any kind of questions or comments about any of the techniques that we're going to be doing tonight or in any of the other sessions that are listed down below, there are links to previous sessions down below. And if you haven't checked them out, you're welcome to check them out. Go back and check them out. Because every time you can do the same technique, the outcome, the experience is always going to be a little bit different. And so if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that we're covering tonight, anything that we may have covered in previous sessions that are at the links below, okay, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. The email address is question@mindfuliconsulting.com. And again, that's question@mindful, the letter I, consulting.com. If you're looking to get into deeper, more personalized forms of coaching or guidance as far as your reflective practice or your meditative practice, again, that's the email address at which we can best be reached, from which we can best respond to questions, that's singular, at mindfuliconsulting.com. If perhaps you're a little bit more focused on quality of movement or even becoming some kind of a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, yes, even with what's going on right now, we're still in a position, well positioned, to do remote instruction, remote guidance on these matters. So Healing House Yoga is the name of the business. You can check out the website now. It is recognized by Yoga Alliance as a registered yoga school. If you have questions on that end, love to hear from you. Email address, question@healinghouseyoga.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're looking forward to allowing more space within some of our next few sessions to deal with questions and answers and really hear more from you so that we can more directly address whatever questions or concerns you might have. It's usually a good idea to consider if you have a question about something, somebody else does too. And so to just be able to give voice and to articulate that question is really going a long way to benefit the whole. And that's what this is all about. It's about benefiting you, giving you support and maybe some structure or just a different perspective on whatever quality of reflective practice you might have going on now. So again, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then hit the alert button as well, so you can be kept up with all of the offerings that we're going to keep presenting. We're going to be adding more content outside of these day one live meditations. All right, let's get started. From where you are, find yourself in a comfortable position. If you are seated in a chair, Allow as best possible the feet to be flat on the floor. And we're just going to start off relatively simply, relaxing the hands and the arms. We're not doing anything fancy with the hands or the arms. And as we work into this movement that for tonight, we're just going to call either locomotion or rowing the boat. Here's how we're going to start it off tonight, as subtly and as simply as possible. The invitation right now is on the inhale. Let's just lift those shoulders up as if we're trying to touch the bottom of the ears, the earlobe. This is our inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to rotate those shoulders back and down. There we go. Let's do that again. So we're inhaling forward and up, exhaling back and down in something of a circular motion. Now, everybody's body is a little bit different. So if you're noticing that your breath and your movement is a little bit faster than mine, okay. If you're noticing that the breath and the movement is a little bit slower than mine, again, that's fine. But just keep the breath coordinated with the movement. So we're inhaling now, shoulders come up towards the earlobes. We're exhaling. Allow those shoulders to spiral back and down or rotate back and down. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Last time now as we inhale, bring those shoulders up towards the earlobes. And now on the exhale, we're just going to reverse direction. So on the exhale, rotate shoulders forward and down. We're inhaling back and up. Exhaling forward and down. And again, everybody's body's a little bit different. So if you're noticing the breath and the movement is a little bit faster or a little bit slower than mine, okay. Honor your body. Don't punish yourself. This is certainly not a race. It's not a competition, not even with your own expectations. So just be where you are. Be gentle with yourself. Let's allow about 2 more rotations here. We're inhaling back and up, exhaling forward and down. And that makes 1 more for me on my end. Inhaling back and up, exhaling forward and down. We're just going to relax the shoulders, settle into your breath for just a few moments. I'm going to demonstrate real quick maybe a fuller expression of that movement, and you're welcome to try along if you like. As the body allows, a fuller expression of this movement that you might consider, I'm just going to bring my hands to my shoulders now. The fingers are in the front, thumbs are in the back. Allow the triceps, as best the body allows, to be pretty much parallel with the floor. And here's all that's going on right now as I'm keeping my back and neck as straight as the body allows. From the space of the shoulder blades, we're simply going to be rotating those arms. And with this quality of movement, with this fuller expression, I'll even tell you, allow the breath to fall where it will with this fuller expression. Now, you can go as fast or as slow as you'd like, but again, allow that movement to come more from the area or the space of the shoulder blades. I'm going to invite us to come back to center now. And as the body allows, let's reverse it. Let's reverse it now. Again, allow yourself the fullest expression to the extent the body allows. Allow that rotation to be focused more from the space of the shoulder blades, not necessarily the triceps or the elbows. Allowing the breath to fall where it will. Now, if in either of these movements you're experiencing any quality of discomfort, I'm going to tell you to move around that discomfort. Do not attempt to move through or power through or force through the discomfort. Just move around it. All right, so slowly now we're coming back to center. Allow yourself a long inhale now through the nose. And as you exhale, simply relax the arms down now. Now, as you allow yourself to settle into your breathing now, if you find that for whatever reason you're needing another small rotation of the shoulders or flicking out of the wrists or a brief shaking of the arms, that's fine. Settle into your body. Give yourself a few moments. Again, as you're settling into your breathing, just allow yourself to be present with or to notice whatever qualities of feeling or sensation in the body you might be observing. And if you don't seem to be observing any particular feeling or sensation, well, that just means that you're not aware of any seeming feeling or sensation right now. Okay. Second movement for tonight we're going to be going through. It was first introduced to me under the name of the heart center stretch. And I'll just briefly model it for you to the extent that the body allows. We're going to be bringing the arms and the hands out to, we'll call it to about 60 degrees or so. Now, on the inhale, because I see that my arms are kind of coming out past the camera here. On the inhale, we're going to be slowly curling the fingers into a very tight fist. And we're still inhaling, but we're going to begin now to hinge the arms from the elbows. Still inhaling, bringing the fist now in towards the sternum. And then on the exhale, we're just releasing it and letting it go. Now, again, everybody's body is just a little bit different, and that's okay. So when you're ready, and as the body allows, I'm just going to invite us to, on the inhale, begin to curl the fingers into very tight fists. Tension, tension, same inhale. Hinging now from the elbows, bringing those fists closer in towards the sternum. Exhale, release it out. Now, just keep this movement going for yourself. Again, everybody's body is different. So if you're experiencing this a little bit faster, or a little bit slower, that's okay. Stay with the breath. Stay with the body. Let's just give it a few more breaths now. Now, with each successive inhale, allow yourself to notice or even to bring up intentionally whatever stresses or tensions that you might otherwise be holding from the day. And then when the fists come in towards the chest, just let it all go. Blow it all out. Let it go. 2 more rounds now. This is 1. Last time now. Inhale, inhale. Bring all that tension into the fists. Bring all that tension into the arms. Flexing the biceps, making the upper body tense. Letting it out. Relax now the hands, relax the arms, normalize the breath. And again, as you settle into your breathing now, if you're observing that you might be wanting or feeling like you're needing to just take a moment and roll out the shoulders, shake out the arms, or flick out the wrists or fingers, that's okay. Be where you are. All right. While you're continuing to settle in, I'm just going to talk us briefly as I can through the meditation for tonight. As I mentioned at the top of tonight's session, typically the structure is 1 intentional movement, 1 straightforward or more classically recognized mindfulness technique, and then a fuller meditation, usually some kind of a guided meditation. And tonight, as we mentioned up front, we're intentionally doing 2 mindful movements and 1 meditation. We're calling this meditation a compounded meditation. Here's the reason why. This meditation is going to exist in 6 layers or 6 beats or 6 phases. One person I think that does an excellent job of this is Vishen Lakhiani. And if you haven't ever picked up either on his book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, or his company and their services, Mind Valley, I'd say check them out. I don't presume to know it all, and certainly I like to give people their flowers while they can smell them, give props where they're due. So thanks, Vishen, for turning a lot of people on to the concept of compounded meditations. But even as Vishen presents it out in his work, Code of the Extraordinary Mind, what he's very clear to articulate is that we're essentially compounding 6 qualities of meditations or meditative techniques that have already existed throughout different modalities and various cultures throughout time. So the specific beats, the specific layers, or the specific phases, close your eyes, throw the figurative rock, you're going to find each of these qualities of a reflective practice or meditation in just about any culture, any modality you can think of, name, or list. But it's the point that they're being sequenced in a very specific order for very specific reasons. And just like other people have their approach to this meditation, we have a slightly different approach to it tonight. We're going to experience that together. Typically, when I'll present this in larger groups, I'll usually try to keep this to about 10-ish or so minutes. We might run somewhere in the ballpark of 15 or so minutes with this technique. That's okay. So get comfortable. Get comfortable where you are. If you're seated in a chair right now, feet are flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, again, get comfortable. If you're sitting in a chair, get comfortable. I understand that sometimes when we do this meditation, some people like to lay out, but be in a place where you won't be disturbed, or at least won't be too disturbed. So that means no driving, no operating machinery. Just allow yourself to really be in a place where you can feel safe and relaxed. And if you feel as though you need your eyes to be open, that is fine. If you'd prefer that your eyelids lower slightly, or even close your eyes to allow for a greater sense of focus, that's fine. Now, I'm going to be doing this with you. My eyelids are going to be lowered. They might even at times be all the way closed, and that's okay. So get comfortable now. And as we begin, let's begin together with a long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time now. Long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Begin now to settle into the breathing. Settle into the breathing now. In and out through the nose. And as we begin to settle into the breathing, simply breathing in and out through the nose now. Right now, you're welcome to consider that there's really nowhere else that we need to be other than right here and right now. And so as we allow ourselves to consider that there's really nowhere else that we need to be other than right here and right now, you're welcome right now to simply allow the breath to become just a little bit longer now. Allow the breath to become just a little bit longer now. And so right now that means just a little bit longer on the inhale. And that means the breath becomes just a little bit longer now on the exhale. And so as the breath becomes a little bit longer now on the inhale, and a little bit longer now on the exhale, in your imagination now, or in your mind's eye, begin to observe yourself now as safely seated on the stump of a tree outside on a pleasant day. Observe yourself now as safely seated outside on the stump of a tree on a pleasant day. Just take a few moments now to observe your pleasant day as you're seated safely on that stump of a tree. Now, everybody's pleasant day is just a little bit different. And so perhaps for you, your pleasant day means, and for some, a pleasant day means that they're able to observe for some that they're able to observe the sound of birds chirping off in the distance. Or perhaps they're noticing on their pleasant day the sound of rushing water in the background. A pleasant day for some might mean that they're able to observe what seems like complete silence. Keep observing your pleasant day now as you're safely seated outside on the stump of a tree. You might be noticing the sensation of a warm, gentle breeze against the skin, or you might even be noticing a sense of complete stillness in the air. Keep observing your pleasant day now. Keep observing your pleasant day now. And so as you continue to observe your pleasant day now, as you're safely seated on the stump of a tree outside on your pleasant day, allow yourself now to begin to observe the roots of that tree as beginning to go down deeper and deeper into the earth. Just allow yourself now in your imagination or in your mind's eye to observe the roots of that tree as going deeper and deeper down into the center of the earth. Allow those roots now to be straight. Allow those roots now to be strong. Allow nothing to get in its way. Just keep allowing it to go deeper and deeper down into the center of the earth. And as the roots of that tree now reach the center of the earth, right now we're imagining or conceptualizing the center of the earth as a giant ball or a giant sphere. And so allow the roots of that tree now to wrap themselves around and through the sphere at the center of the earth now. However many times the roots wrap themselves around and through the center of the earth, that's up to you. These are your roots, and this is your grounding. Continue to breathe into the process now as you allow yourself to feel just a bit more grounded and centered into the earth now. Staying in this meditative space now, we prepare to shift phases together. And so we shift phases together now with a long inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Settle into the breath now, in and out through the nose, in and out through the nose. In this phase, we allow ourselves a moment of gratitude. And so the invitation now is within your imagination or within your mind's eye. Allow yourself now to remember or to observe or to think about just one thing that made you smile in the last 24 hours. Imagine or observe or remember just one thing that made you smile in the last 24 hours. It could be a conversation. It could be an event. It could be a person. Whatever or whoever it is, allow yourself to identify it now. Now, maybe you're identifying more than one thing, and that's okay. But if you can, just stay with one thing. Stay with the one thing. Now, if there seems to be any feeling of being stuck or difficulty or challenge in identifying that one thing in the last 24 hours, it's okay. It's okay. You're welcome to go back another 36 hours, another 3 days, or even another week. Just allow yourself to identify one thing that made you smile, one thing that elicited a sense of joy. As you identify that thing, that person, that event that elicited a sense of joy or gratitude or happiness, allow yourself now to observe where in the physical body you're noticing this feeling the most. And that's just another way of addressing a question like, where does that feeling live in your body right now? Just observe now where that feeling lives in your body right now. Now, all of us process information a little bit differently. And so if we don't seem to be able to immediately feel happiness or feel gratitude or feel joy in a specific part of our body or even throughout the entirety of the physical body now, that is okay. That's okay. Perhaps we're processing information visually. And if that's the case, the invitation right now is to visualize or imagine or identify that joy or that gratitude or that happiness as a brilliant white light. And allow yourself to observe where that light seems to shine the brightest within the physical body now. Everybody processes information a little bit differently. That's okay. Maybe we process things more through words and sound. And if that's the case, just allow yourself to observe the word or the quality of sound that seems to be associated with joy or with gratitude or with happiness. And then just allow yourself to observe where that sound seems to be most intense within the body, or where that word seems to reside most within the body. And now, knowing that you are completely safe where you are now, allow that feeling of joy and gratitude and happiness. Allow that feeling now to spread throughout the entirety of the physical body. Allow that light now to shine throughout the entirety of the physical body. Allow that sound or that word now to resonate throughout the entirety of the physical body. If you'd like, you're welcome to let that feeling grow beyond the physical body. Allow that light to shine beyond the physical body. Allow that sound or that word to resonate beyond the physical body. So if in your imagination or if in your mind's eye, you're wanting to share that feeling of joy and gratitude with friends or loved ones, this is the time. Allow that sound or that word to be shared with colleagues or peers. This is the time. You're welcome to share that light with persons or groups who you might presume have big feelings or strong feelings against you. Or maybe go ahead and share it with persons or groups that you can identify you have big or strong feelings against. Everybody needs a little bit of joy sometime. Everybody can use gratitude. And so, staying in this meditative space now, we prepare to shift phases. And we shift phases together now with a long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Settle into the breathing now. In and out through the nose. Stay in that meditative space. Breathing in and out through the nose. The third phase is forgiveness or release. And so now within your imagination or within your mind's eye, allow yourself now to observe a mirror that's 6 feet in front of you. Imagine now or visualize or observe a mirror that's 6 feet in front of you. And that mirror is sized just so that you can see the entirety of your physical body reflected within that mirror. That mirror is sized just so that you can observe the entirety of the physical body's reflection in that mirror. And so, knowing that you are completely safe right now, you're welcome to hear these words and to silently within yourself Make them your own now. I love you. I thank you. I forgive you. I love you. I thank you. I forgive you. Take a few moments now to continue repeating this phrase silently and within yourself as you observe your reflection in that mirror 6 feet in front of you. If you'd like, you're welcome to invite the image of others into that mirror with you. And if you'd prefer just keeping it with your image, that is okay. That is okay. I love you. I thank you. I forgive you. Wherever you are in the process now, allow that mental visual screen to dissolve to white. Right now, allow everything to dissolve to white. Staying within this meditative space now, we prepare to shift phases. And so we begin to shift phases together now with a long inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Settle into the breath. Settle into the breath, in and out through the nose. In this fourth phase, we allow ourselves now to observe our ideal self 3 years into the future. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. And so we choose the number 3 now. As we allow ourselves to observe our ideal self 3 years into the future, we allow ourselves to do this by silently and within ourselves just answering or addressing or visualizing answers to just a few questions. We begin now with friends and family. In 3 years' time, how do friends and family look? And how might we want them to look in 3 years' time? When we talk about friends and family, what's the quality of the conversation? How might the quality of conversation about friends and family be different or the same in 3 years' time? When we consider friends and family in 3 years' time, how do we want to feel? How do we want to feel about friends and family in 3 years' time? When we think about our career, our vocation, or just our skill set, how does that look 3 years from now? How might it be different or the same in 3 years' time? When we talk about our skill set, our career, or our vocation, how does the quality of conversation sound in 3 years' time? How might that be different or the same? When we consider our skill set in 3 years' time, how do we want to feel? How do we want to feel about our career, our vocation, or our skill set? And then what are we doing for fun in 3 years' time? How does that look? How does that sound? How does fun feel 3 years from now? As we prepare to shift phases together now, you're welcome to silently within yourself make these words your own. May all of the beautiful things I've just imagined, or better, come to me in 3 years' time. May all of the beautiful things, or better, that I just imagined come to me in 3 years' time. As we shift phases now together, long inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Settle into the breathing. In this fifth phase, we observe our perfect day. And so as we observe our perfect day now, begin at the beginning. Observe yourself now as perfectly waking up from a perfect night's rest, going through your perfect or your preferred morning ritual. And for some, that could be exercise and meditation. For some, that could be the perfect cup of coffee or tea, perfectly going over the plans for the day, the perfect morning meal. Continue to observe your perfect day as it progresses. That might include a enjoyable day outside, or a perfect conversation with friends or loved ones. Don't worry about getting hung up on the details or finding the right words to describe what's going on in your perfect day. Simply allow yourself to observe the feeling and the sensations that go with perfectly moving through your perfect day. As that perfect day begins to wind down, observe yourself as having that perfect meal with friends or loved ones. Again, don't get too hung up on the details. It's not so much about what food was eaten, but rather the feeling of being with friends and loved ones, being in a state of enjoyment and satisfaction. Observe that now. And as that perfect day winds down, observe yourself as perfectly preparing for the perfect night's rest. knowing that you have accomplished everything that you intended, knowing that you accomplished everything you intended. Preparing to shift phases now, staying in this meditative state. Together we shift phases now with a long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Settle into the breath. As we come into the final phase now, this is the phase of connection or support. In this phase, this is your time to reach out for support. And so whatever or whomever it is that you believe in, this is your time. For some, that might be a sense of God or deity. For some, that might be a sense of reaching out for support from angels, ancestors, guides. For others still, it's about a sense of inner strength or the idea of your best self. Again, however it is that you approach that, this is your time. However you connect with source or strength, this is your time. Reach out. Reach out and ask for that support now. And as you ask, know that as you ask, you shall receive. As you ask, you shall receive. Presence to be grounded. Perspective to remain grateful. Empathy to remain forgiving. Foresight to remain planful. Insight to remain diligent. And resilience to do it all over again. Slowly and safely now, we begin to come back into present time together. And so slowly and safely now, we together come back into present time now with a long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Begin now to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Let's do that 2 more times. Long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Rotate now the wrists. Rotate out the ankles. Last time. Long inhale through the nose. Long exhale through the mouth. Blink, stretch, look around. Allow yourself to settle in now. Fully alert, fully awake, fully refreshed, and fully present, here and now. All right, that's all we got for tonight. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out. Email us now at question@mindfuliconsulting.com. Again, that's question, singular, at mindful, the letter I, consulting.com. Or if you're more interested in the movement aspects of what we do, Healing House, that's Healing House Yoga is the name of the business. The email address is question@healinghouseyoga.com. As always, if you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit the alert button so you can always be updated as to new content. We're going to be filling more and more of the channel with additional content outside of these live meditations. I don't want you to miss out. This is all about you. So until later, until we meet again, be well.